It is moving into December 5th. Seriously. 2020. Why do I want to share? I feel compelled to share. I feel compelled to share. I need to communicate what's going on for my own sanity and perhaps for whoever is listening to this sanity. Because there has been a lot of insanity wanting to convince me that I am insane. Right down to my husband completely turning on me. It's one thing to leave me. It's another thing to say you've been lying a long time. And turn on everything I stand for. And not care what the truth is. And not care if you're going to hell or anything. Not care. And to be perverse and to be lying to me pathologically. And being very distant from me for many years. And actually gaslighting me. And actually setting me up and baiting me to your relatives, to my relatives, to my acquaintances who became your clients. I am talking about my husband who left me, who left our home and called it a house and said he'd never come back. He left us in September. In Thanksgiving would have been here about 7 weeks ago. Just out of the blue. And it's shocking. It is so shocking. And I want people to understand what the truth is, what my truth is, because there has been a lot of gossip behind my back that I didn't even really understand was going on. And one person, one significant person, let me know that I was in a relationship that was not going to get better. That person just wanted to please me. And I was married, dedicated. My God, do I have a story that if you just tell it in bits and pieces, no one understands. Or they will assume or judge, or some people will understand because they get something about my story. They relate to it or they understand it. But so far, I have been very condemned. It feels very like a witch hunt, like a crucifixion, like a stoning. I want to honor my own story and my own truth. I want to share it. Because I believe there is a vibration in truth that needs to ring out. And if I can ring out my own story, not to cry wolf or to beg for pity or something, but to express the beauty of this significantly devastating emotion. Because what more is it worth than to express it? Why bottle it? There's so many lies that have been strangling me for a long time. Strangling me. You know? And I don't think it's time to wait for the perfect shot. I think it's important to share this rawness, I'm in my onesie under the heat lamp. Things have been going so crazy. I have had so much emotion. Because the amount of deception from a family member who's been my heart connection and my family, protecting me against all those who would speak against me or judge me for smoking weed. Isn't that ridiculous? People who smoke cigarettes. My husband smokes cigarettes, and I'm judged for smoking weed. That's one point right there that I'm like, look, this right here is not something for people to freak out about. This is elemental. This has got glass. Okay, so it's very clean. It's got water, healing water. It's got the medicinal herbs from the earth that are healing, anti-inflammatory, antidepressant, even antiviral. Can you believe it? Anti-cancer. This is very healing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, very pure. And then you've got the air, got all the elements, right? And then the fire, of course. Right? And can you believe it? This is the healing that I do, is with these plants for a long time. And I make these oils that are anti-cancer, that are relaxation and soothing and healing. And all I love to do is make them and provide them to our community. And my clients love it. And my husband appreciated this, even sold them on the street, even rolled the plants on the street, even though he didn't smoke it. He smokes cigarettes, and I encouraged him to smoke healthy cigarettes, like ones that didn't have pesticides. For a long time, he smoked those pesticides one. As soon as he left me, back to the pesticides one. There's like a lot of chemicals in a normal cigarette, but if you can get an organic one that doesn't have all that added crap, you get that real tobacco, and it's real prayer. This is sacred medicine, and that seems to be one of the huge condemnations towards me from the relatives. They don't seem like, in many instances, they had acknowledged, oh, yeah. But actually, overall, there's this judgment about the medicine being, I don't know, of the devil or something. And you're like, what? This was supposed to help them. So to me, I know that demons don't like the medicine. And so there's this sort of prat upper class attitude, but it's very hypocritical, because then all of a sudden they cheer on someone who's a business or a celebrity, local celebrities, and people that even I know. I mean, it's just crazy. Why are people chewing each other up over these things, like favoring one person over here and then condemning someone over here? And why me? That's why I want to express this, because why are good-hearted, lovable, beautiful, kind, wise, knowledgeable, insightful, helpful beings being rejected within our communities, within this community, within this city? It's bad frequency dominating. Why is it doing that? There is so much upside down world, and 85% of the population are choosing to not see the truth. They're not honoring relationships. They're not honoring true love. They're cold as ice, not honoring communication. And then they will use this sort of strange sense of pride, and it's very selfish, and saying that as if, that was like the biggest thing that my husband was saying was that he wanted to be selfish, as if it was just terrible to be in this relationship. He never expressed how terrible it is, other than he had another life going on. Do you know that? It's like he had another life outside of this home of ours, and he didn't really open up about anything for years. And I just kept being told that he was tired, drained, work. But I mean, then he revealed to me on Thanksgiving that he hadn't loved me for a long time, that he wasn't in love with me, even though many days he would come home and, who do I come home to? If I question, like, are you like okay? Like, are you in love? This doesn't feel like you're in love. I know you're tired, but you're tired all the time. We would go through this sort of merry-go-round of conversation, and I just always come back to, we're family. I'm dedicated. I'm here to help you feel better, and I could never help him feel better. And he made me responsible for all that. There are so many details. I think other people can recognize these patterns that may have been haunting you, or haunting you now, or strangling you now. Or maybe you're going through a breakup. Maybe someone's revealing their falsity to you. Or maybe you're willing to confess your falsity. I think that confessing the falsity and seeing if the relationship can go forward from there is important. Because he could have done this so much more smoothly. For some reason, he wanted to blame me when he said he wasn't blaming me, but behind my back, he was. Oh, it's painful. Because we had a very close relationship. I don't know what happened. His whole system just went upside down world. Like, totally. That's why I feel like I need to talk it out, because it's so cuckoo, It doesn't make a logical, linear sense. Timelines are shifting. The truth is coming out. And it made me realize, no matter how dedicated I was, that guy was not. He was not going to meet me where I'm at. Even right now, it's been so difficult to not want to try to find that reconciliation with him, because to me, he was my dearest friend and my family for 17 years. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. We understood so much about each other. It didn't matter where we'd come from. But the thing is, I really don't know much about him. Is that weird? I would open up and bare my soul to him all the time. And he barely would reveal anything to me. And then once in a blue moon, he would. But this whole condemnation around cannabis doesn't make sense, because he didn't have condemnation, although it would kind of be there. Like, it's so interesting, because there was this time where he wanted to try it, He didn't want to for a long time. He had bad experiences with drinking and, getting high and feeling sick. He's very sensitive that way to heights and sick, feeling nauseous, a lot of anxiety. And here I am, this deep relaxation healer and this uplifter, okay? Very entertaining. And he just, even though he really enjoyed me adoring him and putting him on this pedestal, he just couldn't let me in for some reason. All the time he was deflecting. And that just grew to be awful. I found at first, I guess I liked the challenge, and I liked that I could win quite a bit. At first, I could break through, but after a while, he just tore me down. He tore me down behind my back all these years, and I didn't know till recently how he's ruined my business behind my back, ruined my reputation. I'm not ashamed to admit anything about myself or my life, but it's just when someone talks behind your back, someone so close to you is talking behind your back in a way that others are condemning you, like, and he's not, he didn't admit his own side of the story. It wasn't about an understanding and sharing. I don't mind people talking and sharing about my story or my truth, but when someone's doing this in a condemning way, especially someone that knows you so closely, what does that do to your reputation? It is so Judas. It is so betraying me. And so it's all flippy floppy, okay? And it really hurt. I was, the bath, and having a bath is like a great place for me to go into deep transformation and to really look at things and ponder things and heal my body as well. But I mean, it's battle for your heart, battle for your spirit, for your energy. This kind of stuff is terrifying. And I was already terrified. I was already going through so much, okay? But this was like even further. And it just seems like my business is fully dissolving. And yet, of course, like, we will continue our legacy of what we are as business. But business as we know it, is doing the healing massage practice in person, is not allowed by the controllers, okay? And I've been really pushed out of the city in a weird way for a long time. I didn't understand how my husband was undermining me behind my back since at least 2009. Do you know that I've been with him 17 years and not once did anyone come to me as a referral through him? Although many of my acquaintances are his clients now, and actually his friends, and they side with him. They don't even want to see me. What does he do? He pathologically does something there. And one person besides my daughter, my one daughter, is loyal to me, my oldest, my firstborn. The other one is confused. It sucks. That's why I wanted to share these, because I want to share my truth without just yelling and swearing, because there's a lot of frustration and anger and just feeling that rejection. It is so raw. It just makes you want to scream and yell and share this, the intensity. It's like a bomb going off of frustration, of realizing how deeply I've been lied to and how loyal I was to someone who wasn't worthy of that loyalty. And one person, one dear to my heart person, one night told me clearly, it's like he knew. He could read me so well. And I wasn't sure if he could read me so well because he does this to women, or he's seen it, or he's had it done to him, or he understood the game. Is he just a player too? Is like, he understood the game. Why did he explain to me the game? Why did he know? Look, it's not you. He's a workaholic. It'll never get better. This was a significant conversation that went on for a while. I mean, we were together for hours. And we wanted to be together even longer, but I had so much responsibility. It's a long story. It is an in-depth story, but that one person recognized and touched my heart and held me afloat through all these years, for the 8 years since they said this to me. It just so significantly, their presence has held me in this clarity of, it's not you. Every time my husband would be neglecting me, rejecting me, ignoring me, not showing up when he'd say show up, be late, go out for a smoke for 40 minutes or half an hour and not come back, go to the alley, not our rooftop patio, not invite me because I smoke cannabis, so why would we smoke together or go to the roof together, not put his arms around me or be there for me? I'm always like sort of like daydreaming the closeness of our relationship. And we had a close relationship, like a roommate that's really close to you, that babies you, and looks out for you, and yet is your comrade, your confidant, and then yet it never felt clear. Something was unclear. And I mean, I'm grateful that this all fell apart like this. I mean, in many ways, I'm grateful that this pandemic has squeezed the living shit out of my marriage to show, guess what? If there's falsity here, it's going to fall apart, because only something really strong is going to stick it out. And I thought we were really strong. I thought we were really sacred. And in some timelines of reality, I believe we were. But this most beneficent existence of me rising in my truth, he disappeared. He ran away. He prefers to take an opposite stance, and he's blaming me. My husband, who left me, is blaming me for a few things. Something to do about weed. They don't like me smoking weed. His relatives. And he let his relatives, he ran to his relatives, who are, for some reason, wanting to be nasty, angry, judgmental, deceptive, higher than thou vibes. And they've had a hatred for me for a long time, because my husband nurtured a hatred in them. He revealed personal details that I want to get into. I want to share them, because I think it's important to talk these things through, to understand them. And I want to share them in a way that really shares the truth, the true feeling and emotion and depth of my story. I want to honor my story, because I hate being misconstrued. I hate being overlooked as, oh, I know her story and it's like this and she sucks. Don't you hate when someone does that to your story? So I figure if I honor my story, it's going to encourage other people to honor their story and their truth, even if they've walked some dark roads, even if they've fallen off into some strange pastures. No matter what, I think it's important to express and tell the true story. It unlocks the mystery. It restores sanity. And it honors legacy, the truth. I mean, what's the point of going around thinking you know what the story is and you don't get to really hear what the story is? All of our stories fit together somehow. So, as I share my story, I think other people will recognize something as well that may apply to you. It might apply to you. There may be something I say that helps you see some sort of pattern that maybe's going on with you. Because for me, I was in such denial. There were so many red flags about my husband, yet he was so angelic, so easy to feel comfortable, to feel comforted, to feel dependent. And I wanted to just impress him, and I couldn't. And the more I failed at impressing him, the more depressed I was. There is so many details. And I want to honor the relationship this way, because instead of me just freaking out and being angry about this terrible betrayal that hurts, because I truly was in love with our story. I was in love with him. I was truly dedicated to him, even though, of course, I feel connection with this other person who met me and liked me for me, even though you'd think someone who knows you for 17 years would like you for you. In fact, somebody who knows you longer might hate you for whatever reason. It grates on their nerves how confident you are in your truth. It's almost like my husband is angry at me for being so confident in being my unique self, when he always praised me for my unique self. So I'm like, it's the upside down world. I can't tell whether he's just infested by an alien demon. I have evidence to say, I have experience to say that that is something that's been influencing him, a dark force, in a way that's taken over him. And I've watched it get weirder and harsher over time. This one person, he rang true to my bones. It held this vibration. It inspired me to keep my chin up always and stand up for myself, believe in my truth and understand that it is not me. But it was so hard to be around someone who's so toxic, who behaves as if it's you and your fault, that you're not interesting enough, that you're not beautiful enough. When you have a spouse come home, or a partner come home, boyfriend, girlfriend, come home and just sort of fade off into a video or emails or checking their phone, or go in napping, watching TV, and want nothing to do with you. Don't even barely greet you. Maybe peck you on the cheek or say, hey, what's up? Maybe listen to you talk and talk and talk, because you're just trying to fill the blank spaces with chatter, with some sort of connection. That's what I ended up doing. I ended up chattering so much, and for some reason I chattered so much because I was wanting to show him all I could, to see if I could open him up, if he could talk back. And after a while, I'd just get so used to talking that it was tricky to... When he'd start to talk, I'd be like cheering him on. I'd be participating, and I'd be interrupting. And that's not even something I've done all my life, is chatter, chatter, chatter. Like, yes, I've been expressive. Yes, I'm always transparent. I never lie. Unless it's like really something dangerous and you need to mask something. But honestly, even then, I always trust the truth. It's powerful times. And I want these video diaries to be broadcasting truth. That's all I can do. Feel pretty helpless other than that, so I feel obligated to share the truth. One moment